Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. I know some of you people out there may be going off and saying, well, hey, what's the mighty Psycho going to do next? Well, it is about that time, ladies and gentlemen. I've been mentioning on and off all summer that we would be creating the new season 5 of Jukebox from Hell. And this, of course, is the premiere episode of season 5, otherwise known as episode 40 on your scorecards. Okay. We decided to go a little different here. From April 1985, the third album from Men at Work. That's right, two hearts. Here's the front, and here's the back. And this is a gatefold with lyrics. Okay. So, research basically through Men at Work's website, Wikipedia, AllMusic, all the fun stuff. So, like I said, Two Hearts released in April 1985. The previous album was their second album, Cargo, which was released April of 83, which that one garnered 4 top 30 hits and in the United States, number 3 on the Billboard charts. Now, the album here was recorded from September 84 to February 85. Before the sessions, though, before they even began, original members drummer Jerry Spicer and bassist John Reese were let go for various reasons. Guitarist Ron Strykert, hope I'm pronouncing that right, left during the sessions, but he's on 8 out of 10 songs here. 4 singles were released, with Everything I Need doing the best in the US. This album here went to only number 50 in the United States, number 16 on the Australian Kent charts. Now, before we get into all of this, record collecting standpoint here, pretty much your album's going to look like this. Typical, mid-80s at the time, red Columbia with that type. Nice and clean copy for this. Other than Colin Hay and Greg Ham and Ron Strykert, you also happen to have Australian singers Kate Cedrano, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Renee Geyer, who she was big in Australia, 70s and 80s. And they sing on different tracks of this album. And also, Australian drummer Mark Kennedy drums on 4 tracks on this thing. So, go off and give you a rundown on all this. So, track 1, Man with Two Hearts, starts out really good here. It does give off slight Overkill vibes. Of course, that's a previous Men at Work song. But so what, right? Track 2, Giving Up. Greg Ham number here. A very pleasant pop song. Truth, I think this would then should have been a good single. And I really believe that. Track 3, we already discussed about Everything I Need. Another really good song here from Colin. Made it to number 28 on the mainstream rock charts in the US. So 1, 2, 3, right off the bat, really good stuff here. Track 4, Sail to You. Not a big fan of the brief techno type beginning. And I hate to tell you, it's kind of an annoying song, for God's sakes. I don't know. That's my opinion anyway. Track 5, Children of Parade. I like this one. Techno vibes with quiet overtones. It could be me, but at times gives off a slight reggae vibe. I dig the sax here. Track 6, Maria. Another one of the singles off of here. Digging this one too. I like the brief sitar parts that are on this song. A really beautiful song. This is where Renee Geyer, Australian singer, does sing a lead vocal here. We get to track 7, Stay at Home. It's another Greg tune. The lyrics kind of fit well. Now remember, this was written in 84, 85, but it fit well during the COVID time period about staying home and isolation and other problems of the world at large. It's quirky, but it does grate slightly. Track 8, Hard Luck Story. Truth, this is probably my favorite track off this album. Dig this right away. It does kind of give off Peter Gabriel vibes. Weekend Preachers of the Promised Land, indeed. Track 9, Snakes and Ladders. It's a nice 1-2 punch here. Another really good song. And then we finish off the album with track 10, Still Life. This song, truthfully, sounds like part of my life soundtrack. Most of the lyrics hit home for me anyway. So overall, a really good album. Half of this album are favorites of mine. 3 good songs and 2 meh songs is what we've got going for that, for the whole album in its entirety. Now, afterwards, oh boy. So, there was a tour for promoting this album with Alsop and Kennedy, from the sessions, being joined by Colin Bailey and James Black. Kennedy leaves during the tour to be replaced by Chad Wackerman. If that name sounds familiar to you, good. If it doesn't, let me give you a little rundown briefly. He performed with Zappa from 1981 to 88. He also performed with Alan Holdsworth, James Taylor, and others. Your guest singers also returned for the tour. July 13, 1985, if you remember, in the United States, that was the day of Live Aid. But in Australia, their portion was called Oz for Africa, and on the Oz for Africa benefit. Men at Work performed 3 songs, Maria, Overkill, and a previously unreleased song called The Longest Night. I'm telling you, it should have been put on this album too. I think that would have, I think it would have improved it some, because it's really a cool tune. And there is only a live version on this. It did get released in 87, but it lands on the 1992 CD, Men at Work, 1981 to 85. The last 1985 shows, Greg Ham left and was replaced by Paul Williamson. Early 86, band was kaput, and Colin Hay started sessions for the January 1987 album Looking for Jack. So the thing is that Greg pretty much, he doesn't end up back in the picture, at least with Colin is concerned, until sessions for the Colin Hay solo album Topanga, which came out in December 94, which I think kind of probably slowly opened the door for the reuniting of those two in mid-1996. Rest in peace, Greg. April 2012. Now, did you guys end up getting this album when this came out? I got to admit, I didn't, and I don't even recall MTV showing any of the videos from here. I could be completely wrong, but after listening to this album, none of this sounded familiar to me. I do remember seeing this in cutout bins. Geez, probably by, like, I hate to say this, like the holiday season of 85, maybe early 86. I do remember seeing this in cutout bins. Personally, I think this thing could have at least been a top 30 album in the US. I don't understand it. Maybe part of it is because they fired, half the band, and that does change the chemistry on things, in any band output mostly. Did you end up getting this album when it first came out? Are you a Men at Work fan? They only put out 3 albums. They did reunite, like I said, on and off for tours. And Colin has a new batch of players. I think Alsip is in the band currently, but the rest of them are brand new, and he's going to be touring the U.S. Very soon here. So tell me what you think about Men at Work, Two Hearts. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Psycho, what's going to be next? The next episode, otherwise known as episode 41 for Jukebox from Hell. We're going to go back to about April, May 1977. This gentleman here, very, very had a popular band, late 60s to around 1974. Ended up with a solo career. Although, unfortunately, the solo career didn't exactly go very well at this point. This album from 1977 was only released in the UK. And we're going to be talking about it on the next Jukebox from Hell, and that would be Ian Hunter's Overnight Angels. That's right. So until then, everybody, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, please, to stay in the know. We still have maybe half the season open for suggestions, and so if you've got any suggestions for future episodes for Jukebox from Hell, kindly put them in the comments. And until then, everybody, take care. God bless. Rock on, and remember, always proud of my coffee each and every time. Take care, everybody.